Hello, and welcome to the Church Revitalization Podcast, brought to you by the Malfers Group team, where each week we tackle important, actionable topics to help churches thrive. And now, here's your hosts, Scott Ball and AJ Matthew.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 65 of the Church Revitalization Podcast. I'm AJ Matthew, joined by Scott Ball there. Also,
did you forget my name?
Just
did you forget? You kind of stuttered for a minute there.
That guy
Man.
over there. It's Thanksgiving week is when we're recording this, and we've got something a little bit different for you this week, don't we, Scott?
So here, let me frame this. Can I frame this up a little bit?
Frame
AJ?
it.
Maybe your church is in one of three sort of positions. Position one is we made plans for Christmas however long ago, maybe last year, and because what we do every year is the same thing, and we're just going to plow forward. Restrictions being whatever they are, we're just going to do them. We're going to limit capacity. AJ, you were telling me off air, your church is doing some sort of a Christmas production.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to do that Christmas production. They're just going to limit the capacity. In fact, the tickets are already gone. So some churches, I think, are maybe in that camp where they're going, whatever we were going to do, we're just going to do it. There might be fewer people there than there normally would because of the restrictions.
Yeah.
And because some people don't feel comfortable showing up at things. Okay, so that would be number one. Number two would be people who intended to do that. They intended to move forward, but now there are several states that have even more restrictions than they did, say, a month ago. And so basically they've just been torpedoed, and they're like, we can't realistically do what we were planning to do, or if we did, it's going to look so different than what we had in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're basically on pause, and you're feeling like, should we do this or should we do something different? Is it too late for us to do something different? And you're maybe paralyzed. There's a third group, and this group is innovating. They're thinking, okay, we actually want to reach more people, not less, this Christmas season. Because a lot of people still like Christmas, right? And doing things in the building, reaching lots and lots of people in the building and on campus, that's off the table this year for everybody. It's not possible. It may not even be legal, and it's not realistic because even if you didn't have restrictions, there's a limited number of people who will want to do something like that. And so instead of doing same old, what are ways that we could reach even more people? So this podcast episode, AJ, to frame this again, still framing, is for group 2 and group 3. Group 1, if you're listening to this and you're like, we already know what we're going to do for Christmas, and we're just going to do what we always do, consequences be what they are, chips fall where they may, good for you. Maybe you want to keep listening and you want to hear something creative.
Maybe you'll like our ideas, and you'll say,
you'll like our ideas.
Do that.
But particularly, I feel heartbroken for group 2 who's going, I don't even know what to do. We had plans, they're busted. What do we do? And I'm excited about group 3, who's like chomping at the bit to do something new and different, creative, but maybe the creative juices have not been flowing and you're not sure what. So we have come up with for you that you can take and use as we frame it, or take it and innovate on it even more. But 3 creative ideas.
Just some seeds here for you.
That's right. 3 creative ways to reach your community this Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of a pandemic. They're things that you probably haven't done before, I would guess.
Yep.
So,
we're not claiming copyright on this.
Nope.
We've seen some churches doing parts or all of some of this stuff, and we've brainstormed amongst ourselves. So let me throw this out also. All 3 of these are really kind of family, kid-centric, and I think that's cool for a number of reasons because, you know what? Kids have taken a beating this year too. Grown-ups, you don't own grief in 2020, and the kids may not even show it as much because they're pretty darn resilient. But you know what? Hey, Christmas is a great time for kids. And also, you maybe smaller or older congregation churches that really are almost always thinking, why would a family even want to come to our church, or what could we do? Here you go. Here's a great thing for you to engage with a younger audience maybe than normally would be attracted to your congregation.
I mean, all of these things could scale. Like you could do them as elaborate and difficult or as simple as you want. But as you hear these ideas, I want you to know that these are things that any church can do and execute relatively quickly, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's, like I said, it's before Thanksgiving right now. You could get most of these, I think all three of these ideas up and running within a week.
Yeah. Next week you could be ready.
So let's hop into number one.
All right. So number one is personalized video messages from Santa to kids. So right away, some of you might be thinking, oh, here they go. Video production stuff. We're not set up for that. I'll bet everybody has got one of these. And you know what? Scott mentioned this earlier when we were talking about this. It might be more authentic if Santa is just shooting a little cell phone video like,
yeah,
hey there, Dylan. I'm looking forward to, Christmas this year, even though it's going to be a little bit different. And of course, make sure Santa's a Christian. He can plug Jesus for you on this. That's okay to tie all that in together. Recommended. Yeah. But it doesn't need to be long. You could kind of pre-script this so that it's just like, okay, Santa's just pumping out these 15, 20-second videos, one after the next with a different name at the beginning. If you wanted to get more high-tech with this, maybe you've pre-recorded a section, and then it's just Santa saying, hi, Dylan, hi, Carrie, whatever it is, and then you plug in, that at the beginning if you've got editing and all that stuff happening in your church already.
There you go. So, yeah, and in the show notes today, I'll link to a church that's doing this. So this idea, I'm just full transparency, I came across this from a church in my local area is doing this, and I was like, brilliant. They're going to get all kinds of contact information from people in the community. They're going to get email addresses and the kids' names, so they can invite them to Easter stuff. They can invite them to family-friendly things later on in the year, especially as the pandemic begins to wane, hopefully after this vaccine and all that. I mean, like they've got that information. I would ask you, please, if you do go on there, please don't put your kids, don't fill out their form. They've got limited number of spots, as I imagine you would if you were doing this, and, save it for people in their local community. But you can go online and see kind of how the video they put together to promote it, and, how the form that they've got put out there for people to fill out. But this is a very simple way for you to collect email addresses, people in your community that you maybe don't have a relationship with. And I want you to know there are companies doing this right now, because I'm getting ads. I got little kids, so I'm getting ads on Facebook and Instagram for a company that's charging like $30, $40, $50 for this same thing. So there's a market for this, so to speak, and you can, I'm pro business, AJ, but you could really be doing a service to people in your community who aren't going to shell out $50 to get a personalized message from Santa.
Yeah. And so don't miss what we're saying on all three of these. These are also, not only are you going to provide something fun for the season, but you're going to get information from people that you can communicate with after. We've done previous episodes on great guest follow-up, and this fits right into that pipeline then. So all of this stuff is going to be behind some kind of a very simple registration form, name and email address. Don't make it too complicated. And but the point here for you from your side is to follow up and be able to communicate with some people that you haven't been able to communicate with previously. So use this as a tool. It's a great service you're providing, but it's also a tool that you can continue to reach out to folks, and of course, hopefully invite them, to other things that'll be beneficial to them and for you to build a relationship.
Contrast this with something like the Christmas cantata, right? Or something like that, where, you probably aren't going to, you can't have as many people attend, and the people who are going to attend are going to be your church people, right? This is a way for you to connect with people who aren't a part of your church. And the only limit is the number of minutes or hours that you have access to a guy who can play Santa, and how many, he can record in an hour. Right. So, just keep that in mind. That would be number one. Personalized message from Santa. Yeah. Tie in a gospel. Jesus loves you. Jesus is the greatest gift. Something like that. That'd be fine. But also just know that you're meeting a need in the community. Kids are not getting pictures with Santa this year. So is it the end of the world for there not to be like a hard push gospel message in it? No, like you're building a bridge. See it as a seed relationship with people in the community because they'll remember you. Oh, that's the church that provided us with a personalized message from Santa. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's idea number one.
That's number one.
All right.
Number two, this is kind of fun. And this also gets people out of the house. So we're talking about doing a Christmas light scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Christmas light, I would imagine Christmas lights will be a even bigger deal this year. People want to get out of the house. You can do it as a family. You drive in your car. You don't have to see anybody. Go look at Christmas lights. Everybody likes to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Your church could, again, with a form, pre-register so that you receive then the information to get you started on the scavenger hunt, and have a few volunteer families in your church who probably are going to already be doing Christmas lights and probably already enjoy doing, maybe a Christian-centric display of maybe the nativity scene or something. You could walk people through the Christmas story in their cars as they drive by different locations around the town. They go to a different house, and at that, they go to the first one, and maybe there's, they can pick up a little paper that has whatever the next one is and sets them off. Or you could just have maybe all 5, 6, 4 stops available right from the very beginning. You figure it out and do it however you want to do it. But people could move around from location to location, and at the end, there's some kind of a little gift that you could have available for them.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm having ideas as you're describing this, like even more. I'm a big Disney fan. One of the things that Disney does at Epcot every year, when they do all their different festivals, there's usually some variation on the same thing. But like at the Food and Wine Festival, I mean the Food and Grape Juice Festival at Epcot, they have Remy, the rat from Ratatouille. Have you seen the movie, AJ?
No.
Okay. Well, there's a rat who cooks.
Whole separate episode of me and Disney and you and Disney.
That's right. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, in the movie Ratatouille, there's a little rat that cooks, and his name is Remy. And one of the things they do at Food and Wine is they actually have Remy set up at all the different countries in the World Showcase at Epcot. And you have to find him. Like you have to find, where is Remy hidden in Norway? Where is he hidden, in Mexico? And you're trying to find the little Remy. So one way to do a scavenger hunt thing without blowing up, like people having to spend tons and tons and tons of money on new Christmas decorations, is they could set up what they normally do. But what if you had like small nativity type things, right? Like the shepherds, or, the wise men, or Mary and Joseph and a camel, and they're not large or small. And people have, when they go to each house, they're trying to find where at the house it's sort of hidden in the Christmas display.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Which makes it scavenger hunt-ish, right?
Yeah.
Where you're going, they've got Snoopy and they've got all these other fun things out that they normally set out every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're kind of looking for, where is the nativity thing hidden? And so on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought. Like, riff on this however you want, but then you can get to the last stop in the nativity thing, and it's Jesus being the present, and have some sort of a gift, some sort of a kit or a box, or maybe some hot chocolate mix or Russian tea or whatever, some sort of gift, and then a gospel message or an invitation to something, or some sort of next step, some way that people can connect with you, or just something nice, just a gift. Again, building bridges into your community. Contrast this, AJ, with a drive-through nativity, which maybe some churches are already planning on doing again. Mm-hmm. But if your church hasn't done one of those in the past, or you do normally do it in the past, you already know how hard it is to get this thing together. It takes so many people. It's a lot of work. If you want to do it well, you need like costumes and live animals.
Camels.
It's a big deal. And at best, AJ, you can have a couple of weekends you can do it, a Friday, Saturday, maybe a Sunday night, on over 2 weekends, if you're lucky to have all the manpower and the resources to do that. The nice thing about a scavenger hunt like this is that you can have it up all the time, every night during the Christmas season. People can do it when they want. So I think that this, I had this idea, so I'm a little biased, but I actually really like this idea because I guarantee you there are 5 or 10 families in your church already who do a big Christmas display, and asking them to hide a little nativity piece or something like that in their set would be an easy thing to get together.
It sounds fun. I think that I would like to.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Like, I want someone to do this so that I can do it with my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so that's number 2, a Christmas light scavenger hunt that people can go through. And number 3 is putting together a Christmas box, some kind of a small activity or interactive box with some supplies in. Again, this is very smaller kid centric, but you could probably come up with other ideas to, have it maybe cross different ages. So here's the thing: they sign up, they get a box from you. It's got perhaps maybe some simple craft things. Could be little finger puppets or popsicle stick figures or something like that. And then on the church side, you pre-record and produce a Christmas story, sort of little mini service. It could even start maybe with somebody leading the kids through maybe assembling, putting together, coloring, whatever, creating the pieces that will be used. And then you could shift that over to pastor or somebody in the church going through the Christmas story and interacting with the kids by, having them take out the different pieces and recognize maybe who these characters are or what these different symbols are. And keep this doesn't need to be long, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You can pre-produce it, have instructions in the box, maybe for like when it's going to go live on your YouTube channel or wherever you host maybe videos for your church. And so that, it's not something they could do at any time now, but maybe, within a couple days of Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. And so you can work it around your schedule. The idea here, again, maybe Christmas Eve service is not available at all, or maybe it's going to be super limited in capacity. And of course, people have got different family traditions and their plans are changing up this year as well. They're like, well, we can't go to church, so instead we'll do this or that. They can fit this into their schedule. And again, it starts off with them reaching out to you. You gain a little bit of contact information for them. On your church side also, it's a volunteer opportunity. You need to assemble these boxes, get some things together, be able to distribute them so people could come up and pick them up, almost like an Operation Christmas Child kind of thing. Could be in a shoebox or something. So I think this is another really great idea, and I do like how all of these really can help you engage with families too, right, Scott?
Did you already mention candles? Having candles in there?
No, could certainly have candles or little LED lights.
Yeah, I mean, the fun thing, I think one thing that people love about Christmas Eve services is the candle lighting and the communal feel of that, and just the stark reality of this year is it's just not in the cards this year, or at least not on the scale that we maybe like or would like to have. But if you include candles and have a candlelight section included in that at-home service, have people take a picture on their phone of their family holding their candles and have a hashtag for your church, First Christian, First Baptist, such and such.
Candlelight 2020 or something.
2020.
Yeah. Light the world.
Yeah. Christmas at home 2020. I don't know, something. And then that way, like, you could click on that hashtag and see all these people at home. And it brings in some of that communal aspect of it. And if you're really tech savvy, you could celebrate that at the next Sunday service, like bring in all these pictures and do a slideshow. Look at all these people who did Christmas at home. So I'm going to be really honest with you. Christmas Eve service for me, working on staff in churches, was always a lot of work, and very stressful for families, and stressful for families with small kids because they want to get home and get their kids in the PJs and this. And I mean, it is a huge thing. I love this idea. I was thinking about this through the lens of like Netflix having these countdown clocks for New Year's Eve. You know what I'm talking about? You can like watch the countdown to midnight at 10 p.m. with your kids, or at 9 p.m. with your kids, and be like, Happy New Year, kids. Okay, let's go to bed. And being able to do it on your time. and the time that works well for you. So having a 15, 20-minute at-home service, creating these kits to make it interactive and fun and family-centric, man, I think that this would be really good. Leverage the decentralization of this year in ways that are healthy and fun and good. And I think that, yeah, this could be really good. Now, if you really wanted to synthesize a couple of things, AJ, you could make those at-home Christmas Eve service kits the thing that you give away at the end of
the scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, we want to invite you to participate in this Christmas Eve thing, beginning on December 23rd. You can go to this web address and watch a 15-minute kid-friendly service that takes your family through the nativity story in ways that are fun and engaging, whatever. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So it takes a little more planning maybe to do that. You got to have those kits on hand wherever that last stop is on the scavenger hunt, and figure out how can you make sure those things don't get wet or whatever. But still an idea, something that you could do.
I like our ideas, Scott.
I like our ideas too, but the main thing is that you watching or listening today, that it primes the pump for your brain.
Right.
Riff on the ideas. You might go, well, that's goofy and stupid. I'm not going to do that. But if it sparks an idea into your mind of something that you could do, that's the point. I am tired, AJ, of people looking at the COVID situation and the pandemic and Christmas and all this and seeing loss, just a loss. Well, we're going to have this, but it's going to be limited. How much have you heard limited?
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
You have opportunities that don't have to be limited. And the choice is yours. Are you going to do something creative and reach different people, more people? Or are you going to go, well, we're going to do the same old thing, but limited? Those are your choices. And I vote no limits.
Go unlimited.
Go unlimited. Do something different. That's my vote. And
well, maybe we didn't end up making this the shortest episode ever, but it's probably in the top 10. But it's because we're just excited for you. And we hope you'll enjoy maybe thinking through some of these things with some leaders at your church, staff at your church, coming up with a way to just do it in your context. We'd love to also hear your ideas, because we could maybe help get those out. So you can email them to us, leadership@malfersgroup.com. As anytime, we'd love to hear from you anyway. Whether you're in the idea mode or having trouble, we'd certainly love to help you in any way that we can. And just enjoy the season. Enjoy it for what we can do, not for what we can't do.
Yes.
Absolutely. And of course, we'll be back with you next week with some other hopeful good ideas and tips for your church to be healthy and making disciples. This has been episode 65, and you'll be able to read today's show notes at malfersgroup.com/65. And episode 66, we'll be right back with you next week. Thanks, Scott.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Bye, everybody.